candidates in both parties. Kasich followed with a 40% favorability rating. Oddly enough, Trump and Cruz were picked as the least favorable presidential candidates. The poll showed Trump at 65 and Cruz at 62. Least favorable. How these polls work is beyond me. How can you show the guy leading by, what was it, 37%? I'm sorry, Trump at 26% in this particular case. I think Iowa was 37. Yeah, of course, New Hampshire, that's Bernie's backyard. It's that left-leaning Northeast mentality. Right, New Englander? I have no idea what her political views are. I'm just joking there. I got an email. Let's see here. A couple of emails. Starting off, let me get Catwoman and Road Dog. Give them kind of an update. We're at the pilot on I-81, exit 36, Greenville, Tennessee. We were trying to get to Knoxville. Now, we started to run into freezing rain about the 55-mile marker, so we called ahead for parking, and they said all the paid spots are Northeast mentality. In all surrounding TA and Petros, as well as the regular spots also. I have no idea what our political views are. So we decided to stop at exit 36. The TA is full, and there's only one spot here in the pilot next to us. Give kind of an update. We're at the pilot. I think everybody's planning ahead because the truck stops are full, which I guess is a good thing. We also have seen a long line of power trucks steadily headed north on 81. So we called ahead. Yeah, we're not worried about our delivery, of course, so we didn't want to take a chance with the ice. And besides, the farmers won't need these tractors until spring. Yeah, it's the kind of thing that can wait, right? Have a good night. Stay safe, everybody. Catwoman and Road Dog. You guys do the same. Hunker down, right? It ain't worth risking your life and your truck and your equipment to get something there that really they're not going to need for a few months. Let's see from the north star. Now, if I understand the forecast, the heaviest snow is going to fall in Baltimore and Washington, D.C. Given the large black populations of each of these cities, I can't help but think the forecasters must be racist. Have you ever seen a similar forecast for a blue white city? Cincinnati or Indianapolis? Now, this is not without precedent. I think Atlanta was also hit by a racist storm a couple years back that paralyzed the city. You know, forget the Obama phones. Black Lives Matter need to start demonstrating for free snowblowers. Well, there you go. And Jared said Chicago radio was reporting Con Ed there is they've sent about 200 crews. They're headed out east to help get things restored in the coming days. Yeah, so that's the utilities all around the country. I guess you've got power crews rolling in from all directions, every direction possible. And back to the Little Clinic listener line. By the way, lines available, almost wide open, toll free. It's 888-860-8785. Well, good morning, Minister.
Good morning, man. I'm sitting here playing Candy Crush, and I'm just thinking about how many people think that I'm actually racist. So once again, I'm going to say, if you ever get to Tupelo, Mississippi, stop by my house by the Love's Truck Stop. I'll come pick you up, let you get cleaned up at the house, take you to a nice dinner, or we can cook you dinner, and we sit up in the man cave and have a nice conversation. But if you're racist, you don't invite people of other nationalities to your house. So let's clear that up. But hey, look here, Steve. Illinois Governor Reiner is getting ready to do the, he's getting ready to not only shut down a lot of colleges across the state of Illinois, because not only has he not signed a budget, and there hasn't been really a budget signed over that's full extent even before he became the governor. So I'm not going to put it all on him, but I am going to put it on him now because he's the governor. He has to be responsible. So they're saying that by March of this year, that a lot of colleges that have the scholarships and stuff, they're telling these kids that they can't come back to school because they can't afford to honor their scholarships. You know, so it's not about if it's a Democratic governor or a Republican governor. It's about who's in position for the time that's at hand. Am I right or wrong?
I'll take your word for it. How about that?
Yeah, but I mean, that's why I'm not going to get locked in on who's responsible, who's this and that, because whoever's in position and you know what's going on, and you don't do nothing about it, you're just as incriminating as the person that was there before you. You know, I'm talking in Cincinnati here when they set up the settlement for DeBose. You know, and they're making a monument after him for you know, in recognition of what took place. You know, it's not so much about the statue or the monument. You know, if you got these people that are paying for these crimes that the police officers committed, whether they're black or white police officers, if you're paying for something that they did wrong, then they should be held charges against you. You don't keep paying out these big fines for people that do wrong.
No, his trial's about to begin.
Right. But no, I'm not just saying his trial, I'm just talking about overall. And because the guy mentioned a little while ago, well, just this past year in Chicago, you had a Chicago black police officer stick a gun down a black man's throat. They had DNA, and then when they went to court, Anita Alvarez did not prosecute that police officer, even though they had evidence. So it doesn't matter about the black and white thing of being racist.
That's a bad prosecutor.
Right. I mean, that's what's taking place. And these prosecutors are not prosecuting these police officers. So please, ATN family, stop calling me racist, because I'm not racist at all. I'm just stating facts about things that I can see.
When you make a statement like, you know, the crisis in Flint is because most of the people are black and it wouldn't happen somewhere else, it's like, what the hell?
I didn't say it would happen somewhere else. What I did say is, if you take a look at the stuff that's going on in the city, and you really look at it, like Lee Atwater said, and I said to you months and months ago, take a listen to Lee Atwater. Lee Atwater said that you can't call him NNN no more. You have to use code words. He said the things that are going to take place are going to hurt black people the most, but it's going to hurt some white people. But this is what you do. These are not my words. This is Lee Atwater. See, the things that I share with you, Steve, and stuff like that, these are the things that I read as well. But I find it amazing that you don't accept what I say, but because Mr. Eagle does not have the voice or the boldness to speak about the issues that are dealing with in his own race, then you guys are more adaptable to accept him in what he says versus what I say, because I have no problem with speaking about it. It's about...
See, because you have a warped sense of reality. See, that's the problem. That's your sentiment. You don't think you do. Our audience obviously does. You were pretty damn point blank clear the other night. You told me to go back and listen to Mr. Martin Luther King's The Other American. And then you said, what happened in Flint, Michigan is because it's mostly black. That's pretty damn point blank clear, is it not?
That's not what I said, Mr. Summers.
I'll pull up the audio. I want to hear how you said it, because that's the way it came across to me in the list.
This is what I said. Now, the governor of Michigan didn't just find out about this year. He knew about this in the early part of 13.
And because he's white, he didn't do anything.
And hold on. And there was a doctor, not a doctor, a lawyer or whatever she was, who brought this up about what's taking place. And he knew about it. And he didn't do anything about it. It's not about because he's white or because he's black. It's about the official that is in charge is not doing nothing about the things that they know.
Well, then, I mean, then why did you have to include something about most of Flint is black? Why did you have to include that?
Okay, the reason why I said that,
because that says something. That means something.
Okay. Now here, to be tied to you so you understand. When you take a look at the cities like Baltimore, who knew about the lead poisoning that was in the urban community, that knew about it all these years, and all those people got affected by lead poisoning, what was it done at? Predominantly in the black urban community. Anytime that things is taking place, like you take a look at Chicago, over 50-some schools being closed in the urban community. Okay? And then you have the nerves to say that because of the schools that are being closed, Then how we're gonna attack the business and stuff. Where are they doing that at? In the urban community. Then you raise the taxes up and force them out so you can bring the minority back into the city.
Okay, look. Well, and again, you continue to prove yourself, your points. As I say, you have a ultimately warped sense of reality in this country, sir. I'm sorry, I can't see it any other way. You're warped. You have the right. You have the right to believe what you believe, but man, I say you are so far off the reality that it's unbelievable.
Mr. Summers, if I'm so far off the reality, this weekend I want you to take a listen to Mr. Dr. Martin Luther King's speech, The Other American from 1967. And when you come on the radio Sunday morning, I want you to tell me that you listened to it, and you tell me how far...
And he's going to persuade me that I'm wrong.
No. It's not about persuading. Not about persuading. I want you to listen to that speech because in 1967, he spoke about these things. That here it is in 2016. You tell me Sunday morning, Monday morning when you come back to work, if I was wrong about anything that's taking place that we live on a day-to-day basis.
You know, I can tell you now. I don't need to listen. You're wrong. I don't need. Martin Luther King. He's not going to convince me otherwise. You're wrong.
Hold on, Steve.
No one's going to convince me otherwise. You're warped.
Mr. King, Mr. Summers, listen to me. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm not trying to twist your arm. I'm not trying to override your mind. What I'm trying to get you to understand, Steve, is this. What took place back in those days, we would think...
is not taking place today.
It would be done with and over with. But we have what's taking place today is we're slowly going back into time to where we come from. All the things that our forefathers put in place, not only just for black people, but for white people as well, there's slowly being taken away by the people that are in charge.
You think, so am I understanding you feel that the black community is being repressed, held back?
The civil rights bill is being attacked. What you call that, affirmative action is being attacked. You know, George Bush got it in hell because of what? Affirmative action. You know, if it wasn't for that...
You see, Minister, the way I see it, so much has been done to help and change the culture and put a step up for the black community. So much has been done that it's almost to the point of reverse racism. I'm the only one. As a white American, I'm the only one. I'm not of a special... I don't have any rights anymore. Everybody else gets special privileges because you're a different color, you're a different race, you're from a different country. Everybody's got special privileges but the Caucasian American.
Okay, now, Steve, you can say that, and if I say it, I'm being racist. But I'm not being racist. I'm just telling you about what we both do.
Well, I'm telling you that I think enough has been done. The opportunities exist for all people of all races in this country. No, I know that. It's there. It exists.
You're wrong, Steve.
Oh, never mind. Here, you got my blood pressure up. You don't get a damn steak dinner, and that's it. He's gone right back to his old, radical, racist ways. I knew you could only be the calm minister for a limited amount of time. And there your true colors continue to shine through over and over. You reiterate and say, in other words, everybody else out here, we have the wrong vision. We have the wrong reality of what's going on. And just you. You're the only one that's right. We're all wrong. Okay, we'll be back. It is ATN, driven by Celadon at DriveCeladon.com. Attention.
They fought in the trenches of Europe, the jungles of Asia, the sands of the Middle East, and the oceans of the world. They come from farms and factory towns, the big cities of the East, and the ranches of the West. They wear the uniforms of the United States military. We at 700 WLW salute the brave men and women who volunteered to put their lives on the line for our country. God bless them. And God bless America.
The big one on demand. A message from DAV to returning veterans. Thank you. for doing your duty and doing our bidding. Thank you for stepping up and not backing down. Thank you for putting yourself in harm's way and putting your buddies' lives ahead of your own. Thank you for defending our freedom and displaying your honor. DAV thanks all veterans by fighting to get them the benefits and support they were promised. Visit DAV.org for free help. And again, thank you.
The EcoPure Starter Set that contains everything you need for 75,000 miles. The system, installation kit, filters, prepaid sample kits, and shipping labels. Join over 10,000 satisfied OPS customers. Call Artie at 866-OIL-PURE. That's 866-645-7873 to order your OPS EcoPure system today.
Okay, as I rambled on there a bit with the minister, we got a little bit behind. So we'll be catching up here in just a moment. I pulled up some of the very latest. Let me refresh the screen here. Let me see. Some of the latest reports in regards to the weather situation right now. More than 7,000 Gulf Power customers without juice in the Florida Panhandle after that line of thunderstorms came through. Remember, they had a 73-mile-per-hour straight-line gust at the Pensacola Naval Air Station. Damaging wind, large hail, and isolated tornadoes continue a possibility across southeast Alabama and the Florida Panhandle. Already 2.5 inches of snow on the ground, according to the National Weather Service office in North Little Rock, Arkansas. Now, they didn't transition to snow till it was about 12:20 Eastern time. So, and this update was right before 2 a.m. So, boy, in North Little Rock, it's been coming down at a pretty good clip. I can get close to an inch an hour, right? Well, there you go. So, yeah, the official statement. We're up to 2.5 at the National Weather Service office in North Little Rock. Some of the latest internet. We'll get back to the calls after this on ATN, driven by Celadon and DriveCeladon.com.
Now, it's iHeart Movies with Shelley Sunstein.
The Big Short comes up big as a comedy about a deadly serious issue, the housing bubble burst that led to the Great Recession of 2008. I still can't explain the issue despite the very comical and entertaining vignettes by Selena Gomez and Margot Robbie. You saw her in The Wolf of Wall Street. Hey, I think you need a master's degree to understand the complexities of the economic issues, but I sure did laugh a lot. This is one of the best ensemble movies of the year with Steve Carell, the chameleon Christian Bale, Ryan Gosling, and in a smaller role, Brad Pitt. Even smaller roles still for Oscar winners Melissa Leo and Marissa Tomei. The co-writer-director behind this quickly paced, smartly funny but thoughtful film, Adam McKay, who, believe it or not, is best known for Anchorman and Talladega Nights. Shake and bake. Sorry, I couldn't resist. The Big Short is an adaptation of the best-selling book. See this movie. It's funny and illuminating. I give The Big Short 4 hearts. I'm Shelley Sunstein. Email at iHeartMovies@iHeartMedia.com or tweet Shelley Sunstein. That's Shelley with an I, Sunstein with an O. And keep listening for more on iHeartRadio.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
All right, as we roll down the home stretch for another hour, no surprise that all of a sudden the phones are quite busy. Hello, Mr. Jerry.
Hey, how you doing, Steve?
You been doing all right?
Yeah, I've been doing okay. Just got in the car and started to head out, and the first call I heard was Minister. Start the night off with that. I don't know a lot about this situation here. I've been reading a little bit about it now, but I've got a friend that we correspond together on Facebook. He's a friend from way back in the neighborhood, and he's a black liberal, himself also, and a black man with a lot of resentment towards the white race. That's what I've learned here this last year and a half. I was kind of naive, I guess, all these years, because I grew up in the inner city. You know, Tony Terrace in Covington, Kentucky, went to Holmes High School, so, you know, race was never an issue with me. You know, we were all, you know, just one thing we had in common, we were all poor, you know, so, but, so I guess I grew up being kind of naive, thinking that, you know, the race relations were a lot better, but I've learned and seen a lot of true colors come out here in the last year and a half with everything that's going on, that there's a lot of black men walking around with a lot of inner resentment towards the white race, and a lot of them can mask it well, and they can, you know, invite you over to eat supper and all that stuff to prove they're not racist. But believe me, there's a lot of inner resentment in the souls and hearts of black men. But as far as this case here, like I said, I don't know a lot about it, but what I have read, and that it's the question I have is what governor of any state, you know, deal with the day-to-day operations of a certain city. You know, it's like here in Cincinnati, you know, it's the
Right,
mayor.
Governor Kasich wouldn't really, I mean, he has no inkling of, you know, what's going on with the city council in Cincinnati and the mayor of Cincinnati and what's going on with the Cincinnati Waterworks, does he?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's the local, you know, mayor, city council, city officials that make that kind of day-to-day, you know, decisions. And then when it goes wrong and everything, then you usually go up the ladder to the attorney general, then the governor. But see, guys like Minister and this friend of mine, and I can only assume, I don't really, and I told my friend I don't want to know, but I can just tell by the finger pointing that the mayor and the city council and all them are probably black Democrats. So, and he never points the fingers at them. So that's where you lose credibility, when you just constantly come on here and you just point the finger at the white conservative Republican, the white cop, whatever. That's, you know, you can say all you want about, you know, I'm talking about blacks and whites, but the finger's being pointed at a certain direction, and it's always, guys like Minister and my friend, it's always the white Republican conservative. And like I said, I don't know any governor that deals with the daily operations of a certain city. And so there's plenty of blame to go around is my point, and that's the point I try to make to my friend. But he only points the finger in one direction. And when you do that, to me, you lose all credibility, and that's why Minister has no credibility on here. And I don't think he seems to understand that, you know. So I just want to call and put my 2 cents worth in there. Like I said, I don't know all the situation there, and I haven't really bothered to look who the mayor is and what his skin color and that is, but I'd be willing to bet $1 to a donut.
And honestly, I don't have the answer to that question either. All I know is the governor is a white Republican governor.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, you know what I do know is that things are going to be investigated now, and if there was some wrongdoing, there's going to be people held accountable, right? You know, we've already had the one regional head of the EPA tender her resignation. She saw the writing on the wall, I guess. Back after this on ATN, driven by Celadon and Drive, Celadon.com. This is the home of the Cincinnati Reds, 700 WLW.
News, weather, and traffic for January 22nd, 2016. News Radio 700 WLW, Cincinnati.
A winter storm warning. This is continuing coverage from News Radio 700 WLW. With the 3 o'clock report, I'm Charles Van Sant.
There are winter storm warnings in effect for many counties south, southeast, and east of the Cincinnati metro area. That's where the heaviest snow will fall today. In addition to that, if you head north and northwest of the Cincinnati metro area, less and less snow will fall.
That's Fox 19 Chief Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer.
Well, if you're wondering, it looks like the commute this morning will be trouble-free. As a matter of fact, it'll more than likely be trouble-free in the immediate metro area on up into the evening commute, and then it could begin to get a bit slippery, but we're only looking at an evening accumulation of 1 to 3 inches for Cincinnati metro.
Cincinnati road crews on 12-hour shifts getting ready on the streets. All Kentucky state offices closed today by order of Governor Matt Bevin. Kentucky leaders say that if you don't need to go anywhere today, stay home. A complete list of school closings and delays at 700WLW.com. News Radio 700 WLW has more frequent traffic and weather updates heard every 10 minutes on the 10s, mornings, and afternoons. Right now, we're not seeing any trouble areas on area highways. If you do, though, give us a call. 421-6397. Forecast from the 700 WLW Weather Center, a winter storm warning in effect for all of the northern Kentucky counties and Claremont, Brown, Highland, and Adams counties in Ohio until 7 a.m. Saturday. Mostly cloudy for the overnight, a low 18. Snowfall likely starting this afternoon and carrying into tonight. Accumulations in greater Cincinnati, 1 to 2 inches, even less to the north. Northern Kentucky, eastern Ohio counties looking at anywhere from 3 to 10 inches. By the way, we'll see a high today around 32, partly sunny for tomorrow, a high 31. Sunday, mostly sunny, a high 35. It's 21 degrees at News Radio 700 WLW. As the eastern part of the country gets ready for the blizzard, leaders in the Washington, D.C. area are apologizing for a traffic disaster. The region caught completely off guard Wednesday by less than an inch of snow. Untreated roads quickly froze over. It caused a nightmare for rush hour drivers. Treacherous conditions leading to hundreds of accidents, and some folks even had to abandon their cars. D.C.'s mayor apologizing Thursday for an inadequate response. ABC's David Curley tells us the city now is taking everything seriously.
Possibly because of that disastrous response, it's already been announced that the metro rail and bus system for this area will be shut down the entire weekend. A shutdown of that length is unprecedented.
The Ohio Supreme Court says the sentencing for former juvenile court judge Tracy Hunter will be stayed. That ruling means that Hunter will not be going to jail today. This was the day that her original sentence was set. She faces 6 months in jail for unlawful interest in a public contract. Other charges against Hunter were dropped this week. The court ruled earlier that Hunter could stay free as long as she was appealing her conviction from 2014. 4 men now formally charged in a Westchester murder. Jabril Willingham, Rodney Foster, and Justin Cook are facing charges. DeMarcus Staley was already charged. Prosecutors said they broke into a Westchester house January 13th where they shot and killed 18-year-old Tyler Cassow. The U.S. EPA says it should have acted a lot faster in addressing the issues with the drinking water in Flint, Michigan. The lead-tainted water has sickened thousands, many of them children. The EPA now outlining actions that they'll take to assist the ongoing federal response in Flint. And this includes the resignation of the area's top EPA leader. ABC's Stephanie Ramos.
She's out. The EPA Regional Director for Flint, Michigan, Susan Hedman, is set to resign February 1st in the middle of Flint's public health crisis. The EPA says, along with this new step, they'll implement sampling and analysis of lead levels in the city of Flint's public water system and publish these sampling results on its website for everyone to see in order to restore the public's trust. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, Washington.
700 WLW Sports. College basketball action last night. Troy Copay scored a career-high 25 points as the Cincinnati Bearcats defeated Memphis 76-72 at Fifth Third Arena. UC improves to 14-6 on the season, 4-3 in the American Athletic Conference. Elsewhere last night, number 23 Kentucky downs Arkansas 80-66. Tyler Eulis leading the way for the Wildcats with 24 points. Number 22 Purdue knocks off Ohio State 75-64. Bill Dennison, 700 WLW Sports.
The forecast is next. News Radio 700 WLW News time is 3:05.
Now, it's the weekend box office review.
Ride Along 2 finally knocked Star Wars out of the top spot after 4 weeks, debuting to $41 million over the 4-day holiday weekend. That's a bit behind its 2014 predecessor, and despite its so-so B+ cinema score, it should finish up above $100 million, more than double its estimated $40 million budget. Taking second place again this week was The Revenant, which held pretty steady at $39 million, despite leading the Oscar nominations announced last week. That takes its total up to $97 million, though its whopping 12 nominations combination should keep it strong for at least a few more weeks. Down about 25% to third place with Star Wars The Force Awakens, adding $32 million over the weekend or $858 million so far. Internationally, it's topped $1 billion overall and will soon catch Jurassic World and Furious 7. Scoring a disappointing fourth place opening was 13 Hours, earning just $19 million for the holiday weekend. That's director Michael Bay's worst opening since 2005, and it looks like it'll top out at about $45 million.
Latest forecast from the 700 WLW Weather Center.
A winter storm warning is in effect for all northern Kentucky counties and Claremont, Brown, Highland, and Adams counties in Ohio until 7 a.m. on Saturday. We'll see 18 overnight, and then that snowfall is likely to start in the afternoon, carrying into Friday night. Accumulations in the greater Cincinnati area of 1 to 2 inches, and even less to the north, while northern Kentucky and eastern Ohio counties are looking at anywhere from 3 to 10 inches. And that's the forecast from your severe weather station, 700 WLW.
Radar's all clear this hour. Weather service of Lucas Oil and Travel Centers of America. Currently 21 degrees at your severe weather station. Our next update at 3:30. I'm Charles Van Sant, News Radio 700 WLW.
News on air. News on demand. 700WLW.com.
This is America's Truckin' Network with Steve Summers.
Underway on a Friday, TGIF. You may be right, James. Steve, back in the late 70s, country singer by the name of John Conley had a hit song, you may recall, those rose-colored glasses. I remember that well. Well, if they could modify that record and that song today as race-colored glasses, yeah, people like Minister, who only view events through the glasses of race, would make it a hit song again. Ranger asks, well, who the blank has been running these cities? And in most cases, after their name, there's a letter D in parentheses. And again, I don't recall the wager even being made, but sometimes my memory fails me. I thought it might have been like a weekend thing, but anyway, I guess it was Uncle Big who took him up on that wager. Will the real minister please stand up? Long time no hear. I wanted to thank you for saving me some money on that steak dinner. I knew it was just a matter of time before you started spewing that ignorance and got Steve's blood pressure up. For you to try and quote Dr. King and on top of that insult my Savior in Jesus Christ by calling yourself a minister, it's appalling. There's a deep hatred in your heart that blinds you of reality. Wake up and get a clue. I pray for the young kids that you preach to that they don't carry your words of ignorance, racism, and hate with them. And thanks for saving me some dough. From Uncle Big. A little bit longer, but yeah, Vic actually got the program when he first brought this up a couple days ago, and he sent me an email the following day as he caught that part of the program, trying to, in partial blaming racism for the water crisis in Flint. It seems this is more about a Republican governor appointing emergency managers that can override Democrat mayors and councils. Detroit had a lot of problems due to people not paying their water bills. So they probably weren't happy about losing Flint as a customer. There's some type of a monumental screw-up, and it all happened with the EPA, OSHA, Michigan Department of Environmental Quality, the FDA, state and local health departments, the state boiler inspectors, and the Michigan Department of Natural Resources, and probably a few more that are supposed to be protecting public health. Now, instead of blaming race, it should be about blaming government and questioning if the government can't even get the big health issues, why are they dictating personal health issues like doctors, insurance, treatments and procedures? Reluctant to say anything that might affect an innocent business, but Spring Mountain Bottled Water Company is just a few blocks from the municipal water system. When I was in charge of feed and food plants, we ran boiler water quality tests daily. Drinking fountain tests periodically, processing and wastewater tests. Ditto when I was an Air Force vet, tech, military public health. GM apparently hooked up to a township water system 2 years ago, so it is a mystery with private reporting requirements and something that really needs an answer. But it's beyond my comprehension that anyone could think it has anything to do with race. It's about a vibrant state and its cities being spent into bankruptcy by being fair to everyone. Now they can fairly and equally not provide basic services to anyone. The Republican governor has not handled this well, but the former Democratic governor did not do a good job heading off these problems either. This could get very interesting. Maybe race is a red herring to get people off the trail of the real problem and get certain people in positions to affect the solution. Well, there's a much more commonsensical approach. Let's see, someone calls in the Little Rock area. Mentioned they got 2.5 inches of snow in a few short hours. From Little Rock all the way south into the east of Little Rock, it's almost like blizzard conditions. Snow coming down, winds a howling. Okay. Yeah, our winter storm is ramping up quickly. Okay, back to the Little Clinic listener line. Ranger Jack, hi there.
Hello, King Steve. Yeah, you're the king of the truck talking radio. I'll tell you this. And number 2 to Howard Stern, that's something. Yeah. I just wanted to, I was listening the other night when Minister called in about that Detroit water, they're pumping that in there and making a racist thing out of it, saying they're pumping it in there to give, causing brain damage to these, to the blacks. And, I got news for Minister, except for a handful like Dr. Ben Carson and Eagle, with exceptions of them few, you got Wolfie Goldberg, Al Sharpton, and Jesse Jackson. And ministers, they don't need the water. They're born with brain damage. So I just wanted him to know, the way he talks, Reverend Wright, they sound like they were born with brain damage. They don't need to drink the water.
I think he's a good guy at heart. I think he just really, I think there's a warped sense of, the reality. He just doesn't see it clearly, but. Again, that's I think he honestly believes what he says.
Right.
I don't think he's making it up, but I mean, that's just for whatever reason. That's
the same thing with Obama. Everybody, these guys don't say, he's a good guy. He's a good family man. He loves his children and his wife, but so does Vladimir Putin.
Well, yeah.
So does that make? And look at him. But in case you get to talk to Spaceman, I don't know if he's listening. I'd like to get his insight on the. There's a billboard going into New Jersey on 95, right before exit 8A. It's a Trojan condom billboard, and it looks like a female silhouette laying down, and then just the face, and male kneeling over top of her from the top face down, looking down at her. And I'd like Spaceman's input on exactly what the billboard represents because the woman's holding something in her hand. I don't know what it is. You know, their spaceman version of it.
Is it the kind of billboard that might be a distraction to people that make them? Is it going to cause wrecks?
It's a Trojan billboard, but I don't get the deal of what it's supposed to represent. So I'm sure Spaceman will explain it. But the other thing I called the other night about the man that shot his 14-year-old son down there, I guess in Cincinnati.
Tragic, yeah.
Yeah, and it is tragic. But you know, I was talking to Paula, and you know, I wasn't. Later after a man called back in and said, yeah, that's the first thing they talk about. They want gun control. I wasn't inciting, inputting that I want gun. I'm a member of the NRA. I got a small arsenal of weapons myself. You know, and my family and we come from a family of hunting and hunters and stuff. My question was, I don't understand how the man, I was telling Paul, like, I don't think, you know, they said that there were no charges brought against them and this and that. And I feel sorry for the man, but it just seems peculiar. You know, it's incompetent for someone to shoot their own son like that. I mean, first of all, you're to be you're supposed to be being in danger of bodily, you know, danger. I mean, the man. Evidently, then the man that called in said I was trying to holler gun control. He said that he was walking into the room and the kid jumped out of the closet and said, "Move." Now I didn't hear none of that. All I heard was that the father thought the son went to school. He was getting on the bus, and the kid had climbed back in the basement.
He was trying to play hooky and snuck back into the basement and. Yeah, that's what I heard. Now, the rest, as far as what transpired, I don't know whether he was hiding in the basement, you know, and hiding, but the dad thought there was an intruder in the house.
Right, but I didn't hear anything about, you know, the dad walked him to the bus. I mean, I heard what I heard on WLW, and it was like the child went to the bus stop. You know, I didn't hear anything about it. No, they were saying that the father walked us to the bus stop and came back home. I don't know. Maybe that was in the paper or something. But the thing is, it's just, to me, it seems incompetent to shoot. What was he shooting at him in the dark? He didn't know it was his son? How do you shoot somebody in the dark? I mean, it's just peculiar. I mean, I ain't saying that it ain't, but, you know,
I don't think anybody could possibly feel worse than the dad. I mean, I just can't fathom, you shot your own son. And pretty much, I think I probably heard about the same exact scenario, and I don't have the rest of the story, so I really can't answer the question as far as all I know is the boy had supposedly gone to the bus stop. He was gone to school. He hears something in the basement. Dad hears something in the basement. He assumes there's an intruder in the house. The rest of the story, I don't know. Did he actually call out, hey, who's there, something like that? I don't know. So I'd have to do some searching. Might be able to find more on that particular story. But yeah, what a horrific thing to realize you killed your own son. How hard would that be? Okay, we'll get a quick timeout. Back after this on ATN, driven by Celadon and Drive, Celadon.com.
This is the Racing Report on America's Trucking Network.
On the final day of the NASCAR Media Tour in Charlotte, it was Chevrolet Day. Tony Stewart, who enters his final year in NASCAR in 2016, does not want any fanfare.
I'm just looking forward to racing this year. It's not about that. I mean, I think what everybody did for Jeff last year was very fitting. I don't think it's fitting for me, but it definitely, Jeff was very deserving of that last year.
Danica Patrick going into the season with a new crew chief in Billy Scott.
And just bonding and having a good relationship from a communication standpoint, and that's what's going to be important to us from the get-go, is communicating well. And I don't doubt that the team is going to produce good cars, and Billy's going to do a good job of putting a car together.
Chase Elliott spoke about taking taking over the 24 and Jeff Gordon's ride.
I just want to go be me. I mean, everybody always talks about the expectations and things, but for me, I just want to go be myself. And I think the less you worry about what everybody else thinks and the more you worry about yourself and what you have going on personally and the goals that you set upon yourself, then the better off you'll be. So that's how I'm going to approach it, right, wrong, or indifferent, and we'll try it out and see what happens.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. had a concern already about 2016.
There's one thing that always worries me. Anytime you had change in a team, I don't care if it's a guy sort of just a mechanic or engineer, what have you, but we had a lot of change in our team. We had some guys go back home to family businesses. We had guys get promotions. I lost my lead engineer to Junior Motorsports, my own company. So it's been very emotional. We got a lot of new guys, and we got to depend on these guys.
And Richard Childers looks ahead to his RCR teams.
I'm really excited about what we got going on, our driver lineup, our crew chiefs, our engineers. So we'll roll into Daytona with our hopes very high, our ambitions very high, our goals very high, and that's to take that trophy back home.
This is the Racing Report on America's Trucking Network.
St. Dennison reporting for America's Trucking Network.
Hey, truck drivers. Do you want the freedom and flexibility to be your own boss without owning or leasing a truck? If you honked your horn, check out bluebloodhound.com. It's the only place where you can fill out a one-time driver qualification file as a legitimate independent truck driver and instantly be connected with more runs, better pay, and a flexible schedule. All you've got to do is visit bluebloodhound.com to sign up for free. Once you do, you'll remember why you became a truck driver in the first place.
Diesel trucks are tough. They pull massive loads with high efficiency and do it mile after mile. But diesel engines can be stopped dead in their tracks by freezing weather, which causes cold filter plugging. That's why Lucas Oil created Lucas Anti-Gel. It's designed specifically to prevent cold filter plugging in diesel and biodiesel fuels. In addition, it disperses water in the entire fuel system and prevents fuel thickening and gelling without harming particulate filters. Get maximum performance out of your diesel, even in the coldest weather, with Lucas Anti-Gel. Available at TA and Petro stopping centers.
Attention all truckers. Dean Michael, the tax doctor here. I want to talk to you about those tax problems. I know you want to keep on trucking and not even think about them, but let's face it, they're not going away all on their own. You need professional help. I've been helping truckers put their tax problems in the rearview mirror for years. I can help you too. Call me now for a free consultation at 888-632-4506 or go to mytaxhelpmd.com. It's like I always say, keep your eyes on the road, I'll keep mine on the IRS. 888-632-4506.
My grandfather served in World War II. Spending time with him were the best memories of my life. I became a physician at VA because of my grandfather, so I can help others like him. I can't imagine working with better doctors or a more dedicated staff. I'm fulfilling my life's mission with the help of my team and thanks to these veterans. I'm proud to be a doctor at VA and proud to honor my grandfather every day. Search VA Careers to find out more.
Okay, so once again, getting kind of ugly there. In and around the Little Rock area, apparently, so... Yeah, let's see. A couple of the latest weather updates. Weather update, a service of Lucas Oil. Maximize performance out of your diesel this winter with the Lucas Anti-Gel. Available at TA and Petro stopping centers. All right, 3 a.m. Eastern Time. Update from AccuWeather. Snow is falling north of Greenville, Spartanburg, South Carolina. They got a photograph. It's coming down at a pretty good clip, about 10 miles north of Greenville, Spartanburg, yeah. Slippery conditions beginning around, let's see, southwest Virginia, according to the Virginia Department of Transportation. Snow and ice conditions on multiple routes in the county. And the impact on air travel, today, Friday, already more than 3,100 flights have been canceled in the United States. Almost half of those at Charlotte Douglas International Airport, according to flight stats. Geez, how many flights come in and out of that airport? That's a lot of flights. Yeah, I'm guessing there's probably nothing going to be going in or out, right? Because they're going to have the proverbial ice storm. I think they're in the zone for what, a half to as much as 1 inch of ice accumulation there. Okay, and for the previous caller, Ranger, whatever his name was, I pulled up the rest of the story, and according to ABC News, and yes, this was a local story here in Cincinnati, in regard to the teen. Police say the teen headed to the bus stop, but apparently came back home and came in through a back door. Of course, the father was in the house. The man said he heard a noise in the basement. When the father opened a door in the basement, the boy appeared. Now, according to the 911 call, just before 6:30 a.m., the man said, "He scared me. I thought he was at school. I heard a noise, so I went downstairs looking, and he jumped out at me. Oh, God, get here quick." And as the call continued, the 911 dispatcher told him to put the gun on the counter and was helping him with CPR. Initially, he said he thought he shot him in the chest. Apparently, then he said he was actually shot in the neck, but he kept saying, "God, oh God, please hurry, get here, hurry." I mean, as horrific as it is, like I said, who could feel worse than the father having shot his own son, who ultimately did die from his injuries at Children's Hospital Medical Center? So, just a tragedy in that particular case. Let me jump to Mike, I believe it is. Morning, Mike.
Steve?
Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What's going on?
Oh, this guy minister drives me freaking nuts. You think your blood pressure's going? Mine is just absolutely boiling. He always wants to talk about, inner city, black, all that, He's a racist. He never mentions, the rural areas, The rural areas, is got so much problems, financially and that, he drives me nuts. I'm fit to be tied. He's a nut. I mean, he's just a whack job. I do not understand.
So it's not just me. I'm not the only one who thinks he has kind of a warped sense of reality.
It's all inner city. It's all black. No, it's rural. He needs to get in his car and just drive out to the country.
Yeah, it's not just the kind of thing going on. Sure, you want to mention a place like Flint, Michigan, but yeah, the kind of stuff that's happening all over. There's majority white communities through many places around the country that are poor and deal with the same kind of things. And, I got to get a time out, though. News update, 29 past the hour on ATN, driven by Celadon and Drive, Celadon.com.
Your truck is your life, so you need to take care of it. Trust the best with Lucas Oil and Relodyne. Relodyne has all your heavy-duty lubricants and chemical needs, including Lucas Heavy-Duty Oil Stabilizer, upper cylinder lubricant fuel treatment, stop leak, motor oils, greases, and more. Shop Relodyne at 1-800-786-2803 or any of their Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana locations. You can shop online at RelodyneExpress.com. Lucas Oil Products and Relodyne, your heavy-duty trucking partner.
Just like Grandma's biscuits, our shows are made fresh daily. This is the big one, 700 WLW. On the hour at 30 past, and when news breaks, 700WLW.com.
Good morning. This is the 3:30 report. I'm Charles Van Sant. Forecast from the 700 WLW Weather Center. Winter storm warning in effect for all of northern Kentucky in Claremont, Brown, Highland, and Adams counties in Ohio until 7 a.m. Saturday. Clouds for the remainder of the overnight, a low of 18. Snowfall starting this afternoon, carrying into tonight. Accumulations in the greater Cincinnati area, 1 to 2 inches. Even less to the north, northern Kentucky and eastern Ohio counties are looking at anywhere from 3 to 10 inches. High later today, near 32. Partly sunny for Saturday, high 31. Mostly sunny on Sunday, high 35. It's 22 degrees. Your severe weather station, News Radio 700 WLW. Here are the big stories that you'll be talking about on the big one.
The greatest snowfall total for a single storm in Cincinnati history is 18.5 inches back in February of 1998. This storm will not be anywhere near that where the official snow is measured at CVG, but if you're out towards Lewis County, let's say Kinnickinnick, Vanceburg, Maysville, southern parts of Adams County, you may see 15 inches of snow, so this is close to historic out that way.
Fox 19 Chief Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer talking about the big snow forecast for today. States of emergency declared in 5 states in the District of Columbia. Blizzard conditions expected in Washington. Forecasters are predicting up to 2 feet of snow there. Federal government offices in D.C. will close at noon. In Cincinnati, 12-hour shifts for road crews as they prepare the streets. All Kentucky state offices ordered closed for today by order of Governor Matt Bevin, and Kentucky road crews are to report at 6 a.m. And in Kentucky, the leaders are urging folks in the bluegrass to stay home today unless you absolutely have to get out. A complete list of school closings and delays. You can see the updates at 700WLW.com. Northern Kentucky interested in hooking up with the streetcar.
The streetcar is not about making it a cool city. It's not about attracting the millennials, although it will do that. It's not about tourism. The purpose of the streetcar is to stem the population loss from the core of Cincinnati and increase economic development.
Streetcar expert John Schneider was a proponent of the streetcar in Portland, Oregon, Cincinnati, and is now pushing for it to come to Northern Kentucky. While it may be a political battle, supporters believe the good will far outweigh the bad.
News Radio 700 WLW's Troy Adams. College basketball last night, UC over Memphis, 76-72. I'm Charles Van Sant. Our next update at 4 o'clock. Breaking news anytime at 700WLW.com.
News on demand. iHeartRadio online. On your smartphone, iPad, and tablet. 700WLW.com. Now, it's iHeart Movies with Shelley Sunstein.
One of the best and most realistic sex scenes in recent memory comes from an animated movie, Anomalisa. Bet I got your attention there. Anomalisa is the latest creation from writer-director Charlie Kaufman, who gave us the one-of-a-kind classics Being John Malkovich and one of the best, smartest romancers in my book, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Using stop-motion animation, Kaufman's Anomalisa revolves around a depressed motivational author who sees his life so bleakly everyone sounds the same. Everyone has the same voice, literally, till on a business trip he meets a woman who is like no one else he's ever met. Thus the puppet sex and the woman who could be the love of his life. David Thewlis and Jennifer Jason Leigh star. Ironically, Jennifer Jason Leigh is competing with herself at the box office because she co-stars in Quentin Tarantino's marathon of a movie, The Hateful Eight. Anomalisa lives up to its name. The movie is an anomaly, deviating from the standard romancer. Funny, but depressing at the same time. Anomalisa gets 3 hearts. I'm Shelley Sunstein. Email me at iHeartMovies@iHeartMedia.com or tweet me at Shelley Sunstein. Keep listening for more on iHeartRadio.
Starting in the 6th grade, students who miss 18 days or more of school in a year for any reason will fall behind and risk not graduating high school. Absences add up. Keep track at boostattendance.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
Packing 24 hours of broadcasts into each and every day. This is the big one. 700 WLW.
Okay, we'll get back to the Little Clinic listener line here momentarily. A couple quickies from the email bag. Which, by the way, email is steve@700WLW.com. In regards to Minister, okay, gosh, he never disappoints, does he? Those urban Chicago schools that Democrat Rahm Emanuel closed. The truancy rate was through the roof. The graduation rate was in the toilet. Even with those schools closed, the Chicago public school system is facing over a $1 billion shortfall. Minister's assertion that young blacks won't have their scholarships renewed because Republican Governor Rauner won't pass a budget ignores the fact that Illinois Speaker Mike Madigan refuses to enact budget cuts to balance the Illinois budget. But to get the full story, no. Just the cherry-picked parts to back his racist view of the world. And what amazes me is it's guys like him that you spew this crap and they act like they're so appalled when they're called on to actually rebut the facts. And this one's kind of funny. John says, I've heard about paid voice actors used for call-in radio. In fact, Dick Clark uses or owns a company that supplies. I found this through some of my research. Now, sometimes on day and evening talk, you'll hear the same name and voices on several syndications. Your show seems to be the same characters. Is WLW part of this? I've tried to call, text, and email several shows in the past, yours included, and never got through. How do some characters magically always get through? I can assure you, John, there are no paid characters of any sort, any form or fashion. Now, honestly, it varies from one night to the next. There are occasions, not very often really, where the lines are going to be full to where you get a busy signal. We've got a number of open. Anytime you hear me say lines available, that means there's several lines open. And technically, what do we have? We've got 6 of 12 lines available right now. 2 on the toll-free 800 number. Sometimes people forget that we also have the local direct line, 513-749-7000. So, the 12 lines available. Now, as far as email, I pay very close attention to the email through the night. As I'm sharing yours right now, you got through here via email. And if you want to dial us up, John, feel free to do so. As far as the point of same callers, you know what? There's only a certain group of people that are willing to pick up the phone and dial a radio program, talk radio. And they've done a lot of research on this, and that runs the gamut. I don't care if you're listening to Rush Limbaugh. I guarantee some of the same people try to call Rush on a daily basis. I'm sure that he's got a larger phone caller base just for the mere fact that he's on 300 stations around the country. And they don't have to use the same people every day. But there's a very, very small segment of the population that are willing to pick up the phone and dial. I mean, every time I'm out at a public appearance, talk show, whatever, can't tell you how many people come and say, I listen every night, but I don't call. Or they may email and say, I listen every night, but I don't feel right. I don't want to call the show. So, got to be thankful for those who do call the show, because otherwise it'd be pretty damn boring to listen to me sit here and talk for 5 hours every night, huh? Now, back at it. Again, toll free, John. It's 888-860-8785. 860-TRUK. Who's next up? No, we've got several of our regular callers on the line. I don't know if Jeff may or may not be. Hello, Jeff. You got a weather scenario? What's up?
Well, since you brought it up, I'm one of the people that listened for a long time. I've only called in, probably 6 or 8 times.
Okay.
So I'm in that boat too. It's not everybody wants to call in, Everybody wants to, but they never, like you said, never really pick up the phone,
So what brings you out tonight?
Well, I remember a couple nights ago you're talking about maybe putting some weight in the Firebird to get you home or get wherever. I was going to see the White Death is coming to Cincinnati. I don't know what preparations you made.
I've made no preparations whatsoever.
So you didn't go, ransack the grocery store?
No groceries. Realistically, I mean, we're in that zone where they're saying now like maybe 1 or 2 inches, which to me, it's hard to believe we could get 1 or 2, and then 40 miles away they're going to get 6 to 10. It's really hard to imagine, but
Well, I'm in Dayton, and
And you're in the zone where they're not. Are they calling for anything, flurries or what?
last I heard, nothing.
Okay, see what I mean?
Which I'm okay with that.
So that's about what, 40, 45 miles north of Cincinnati, right?
Yeah, something like right around there. So yeah, it's I was gonna since the topic has been brought up tonight, I know I say Dayton, but I actually live right close to Centerville.
Mm-hmm.
You say Cincinnati. I'm sure you're not right in the heart of Cincinnati.
About 12 miles north, Coleraine, yeah.
Right. Well, Colerane's predominantly white neighborhood, right?
I think there's still more white than black, and the numbers have been growing over the years. There's a lot more than when I was a kid.
Well, that's why Coleraine is being spared as opposed to D.C. because.
Okay. Oh, is that it? There you go.
All right, that's all I got to see.
Good to hear from you.
I was going to tell you too. I sent you a thing on Facebook. I don't know if you've seen her about the Subaru.
Was that you? I did see that a little bit ago. The Subaru that don't give a shish kebab. Was that about a foot of snow was going through?
Yeah.
He just drove right on through. I guess that's got that four-wheel drive or something.
Yeah.
All-wheel drive, yeah.
Traded up, because the Firebird's got a V8 in it, brother, or is it a V6?
I got a V6, but yeah, it is the rear-wheel drive. It is a piece of junk in the snow.
Oh, that was the higher-end Subaru. The STI is what it's called.
Yeah.
And that'll blow past even the V8. That was just,
That's pretty amazing. And this guy, he's like off the beaten path, and it looks like the big long driveway out in the middle of nowhere that hadn't been touched, and the snow is the car's almost acting like a plow pushing the snow.
Yeah.
Because it was up to the grill. Yeah.
I mean, you got to think he's got snow tires and some extra weight in there or something. I find it hard to believe that.
Yeah.
He could do it with just a regular, car. But they're very impressive in the snow. My sister-in-law has one, but it's not the STI, and they're ridiculously fast. And they're a lot of fun in the snow too. That's for sure.
All right, Jeff. Well, hey, thanks for chiming in. Thanks for the video there. Yeah, I checked that out here about 2 hours ago. We'll get back at it in just a moment here on ATN, driven by Celadon and Drive, Celadon.com.
Now, it's iHeart Movies with Shelley Sunstein.
Norm of the North is March of the Penguins of 2016. Just not as good, but certainly worthy of taking the kids to the movies for the afternoon. Rob Schneider makes his animated debut as Norm, an Arctic polar bear who can speak to humans. Norm is the butt of jokes of the other polar bears because what he can't do is hunt. But Norm sure has spirit, so when a corrupted gazillionaire developer plans to build luxury condos in the Arctic, Norm takes action along with 3 adorable lemmings as his sidekicks. Hangover star Ken Jeong is the villain and ironically battles himself at the box office because he also stars in Ride Along 2. Heather Graham and the great Bill Nighy also lend voices. Good messages for the kids here. It's an environmental fish out of water tale with a message of empowerment for those who don't fit in. Clocking in at a little more than an hour and a half, it's just long enough before the kids get nudgy. Nice music, too. 2.5 stars for Norm of the North. I'm Shelley Sunstein. Email me at iHeartMovies@iHeartMedia.com or tweet me at Shelley Sunstein, Shelley with an I, Sunstein with an O. And keep listening for more on iHeartRadio.
You can be a hero by being prepared for an emergency. First, make a plan. Call a family meeting to plan for things like how to connect with loved ones after an emergency or your escape route. I am not fast. Build a kit. When disaster strikes, it's important to have enough supplies to last 3 days. And don't forget the batteries. No batteries. Visit ready.gov/kids for more preparedness tips. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to 700 WLW, the big one.
Someone else posted a little funny, kind of like an editorial cartoon kind of thing. I know Walmart has announced they're going to be closing a number of, I don't know the exact number, but this had to make you laugh. Walmart's closing 269 stores in 2016, putting 14 cashiers out of work. That's about the truth, isn't it? All over the country, anytime you go to you'll go in and they got 30 registers. 30 registers available. And you got one on this end and one on that end that are open.